My name is Melanie Malcolm, and I am a fifth-year apprentice. I get my hours in like 4 days, so I can take my test and turn out. I'm almost at the end of my next to last semester of school. I have to finish up my school in the spring. And I'll be done, and I'll be like an actual journeyman done with the apprenticeship. This is my second career. I was in retail for 12 years before this. And I worked my way up from being the person on the sales floor, just giving breaks and not even assigned to any department, all the way up to assistant store manager, salary, running a store at Christmas time when the boss got sick. And the store went out of business and we all got laid off, which isn't a big deal in construction because you're always getting laid off and you go to the next job. Well, in the rest of the world, it really is a big deal. And I spent a couple years out of work and kind of doing my own thing as a musician and doing some other, my own business thing. But wasn't paying the bills, wasn't getting me a future, didn't have enough money to buy a house or didn't have a savings account. I couldn't retire off of that. A friend of mine told me about a pre-apprenticeship program. She said, "Oh, I'm starting this thing on Monday. It's really amazing. You should look into it. It's to get into the construction trades." I was like, "Wow, that sounds really cool." And by happenstance, I ended up at an event on Sunday where they were. And I got to chatting with them and they were like, "Oh, yeah, we know who you're talking about. She's coming to class tomorrow." I said, "Oh, I would love to do that." And they said, "Well, we have a thing in, we have the next thing starting in a couple months and you probably can't start tomorrow." Well, actually, I'm not working, so I could. Next morning, I was in the pre-apprenticeship program. So I did this 12-week program. It's called ANEW, Apprenticeships in Non-Traditional Employment for Women. And you go around and you visit different apprenticeships and you get to see what they do. You get a hands-on, you go to the plasters and they say, "This is how you scoop the plaster, this is how you mix it, this is how you scoop it, this is how you put it on the wall." And then you go over to the bricklayers and they say, "Okay, so when you're carrying stuff, you need to pick it up like this and you need to move quickly and this is how you need to do the thing." And they really give you a lot of hands-on, helpful attitude, advice and examples of how to be and how things should be on the job site and what your expectations should be. And you get to see what each trade is like. All the ones you visit, you don't get to see them all. So after 12 weeks, and they take you through a bunch of trainings as well. So you get your OSHA 10 card and your forklift certification and your flagging certification and first aid and stuff like that. At the end of the 12 weeks, you graduate and then you have sort of a leg up in getting into another trade. Third or fourth week of it, we went to Seattle City Light. And I didn't want to do, that kind of where I wanted to do something in actual construction where I was building stuff. But they took us, after we did the tour, they took us into a workshop. And they sat us down and they said, "Okay, see this is the green screw. That's where your ground goes. That's a green wire or a bare wire. And this is a black screw, this is your hot." And they gave us a switch and a receptacle and an Edison base and wires and tools, and they put them in our hands. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is what I want to do. Here it is." So toward the end of the program, we actually came here and visited the Puget Sound, electrical JATC. And we did 3 different workshops. We went through the conduit lab and did some conduit bending, and then we went into the wiring lab and pulled some wire. And then we did some, punched down some low voltage stuff. And I was just like, "Oh, this is it, I'm doing it. This is the program. It's the only one I applied to. It's the only one I wanted." And I got in. So after we graduated, I went down to the hall, the IBW, and registered as a low voltage installer, which you get paid like $15 an hour at the time. And you don't have to have any prerequisites. So the tools you had to have some snips, and you had to have a Sharpie, and you had to have a screwdriver and a punch down tool, which my brother-in-law had one that he gave, gave whatever. He said, "You can, go ahead and do this." So I walked in and had everything that I needed into a union job, just like that. And in the meanwhile, I was able to pay my bills while I waited to get into the apprenticeship, while I did my interview and all my testing and my prerequisites. And in March, on my birthday, I signed my indentureship paperwork and got a new career. Happy birthday! So I think that anything you do that helps you rise to a challenge, I mean, this whole work, being in the trades, getting through an apprenticeship, it's all a huge challenge. Every day's a challenge. And if you have that's an important mindset to have, that this is gonna be really tough, but I'm gonna do it. I'm a rock star, I got this. And you have to have that positive self, whatever you wanna call it, that you're gonna get in there and you're gonna do the thing. The advice that I would have is to look into it. I mean, going through a pre-apprenticeship is a great way to test the waters, I guess. There's a lot of different apprenticeships. And honestly, we have the internet. I mean, you want information about something, it's out there. Do your research, look into it. There's chat rooms and websites and Facebook pages, and you can ask people, and you can go down to the hall, whatever hall that you're looking at, whatever trade that you want to get into that you're thinking sounds interesting. Talk to people, find somebody that you know. Go down to the hall and ask them, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you suggest? I did 12 years in retail before I came in. This is my second career. And there's no progression. When you're merchandising and you go and you get a new set of merchandise and you put it on a table and you straighten all this, make it all pretty and all the shirts on the table, and they're okay, yeah, did the thing. You walk away, come back later, and customers have done this, and they throw it down, and they throw it. Messy table. You fix it, you make it pretty again, right? There's a couple fewer shirts on the table now. Okay, that's good, we're selling it, that's awesome. But for the next 3 months, you're gonna straighten the same table with the same shirts over and over again, and over and over again. And it only ends when you hang them on the clearance rack, and then you get another set of shirts to put on the table. And it never ends, and you never get anywhere. And I love that about this job. I wanted something that would give me some sense of progression, that you start on basement 2 level, and then you're on the 6th floor, you're finishing the building, and you can look down and they're painting and trimming out downstairs, and you're still up here working, roughing in the walls. But you can see this progression. And then 5 years, 10 years down the road, you drive by and you're like, hey, see that building? Yeah, I did that. I think that it's a wide world, and there's so many different things that you can do. There's something for everyone, as long as you're ready to work hard, as long as you're ready to be reliable and be the adult that shows up and does the thing. And work hard and rise to the challenge every day. But oh God, go for it. That's my advice. Do it. I see kids, even 20 years ago when I got out of high school, I'm dating myself, but when I got out of high school, the attitude was go to college, go to college, go to college. And from what I hear, it's the same right now. Go to college, go to college, go to college. This is the way to get ahead. I went to college, I got debt. Okay, so now I'm in an apprenticeship program where I made as much money walking in on day one as a first day apprentice as I did after 12 years of retail experience running a store, salaried member of management. I made the same amount of money on the first day, and I had better benefits. So, it's a good way to start your life off. It's a good way to turn your life around if you started on the wrong foot like a lot of us did. There's people of all walks of life and all ages. There's people that get into the apprenticeship and they want to do controls, which is, kind of piddly little stuff. There's people that get in the apprenticeship and all they want to do is gear work, big 4-inch pipe and, transformers. It's great. There's everything out there under the sun, and I guarantee the pipe fitters have 1,000 different things, and the rod busters have 1,000 different things, and every trade has, flexibility, and there's different things that you can learn to do. And I guess my bottom line advice is it's an amazing thing. Go and do it and get involved and do it wholeheartedly.